Today we'll discuss the development of the venous system of our body. There are three sets of primitive veins in our body: a pair of Wittlein vein, a pair of umbilical vein, and a pair of common cardinal vein. Wittlein vein drains the venous blood from the yolk sac to the floor of the sinus venosus. Both the umbilical veins drain the oxygenated blood from the placenta to the floor of the sinus venosus. Both the common cardinal veins drain the deoxygenated blood from the body to the corresponding horn of the sinus venosus. Each common cardinal vein is formed by union of anterior cardinal vein and posterior cardinal vein. Anterior cardinal vein drains the venous blood from the cephalic part of the embryo as well as upper limb, whereas posterior cardinal vein drains the venous blood from the caudal part of the embryo, lower limb as well as mesonephros. Wittlein and umbilical veins are known as visceral vein and common cardinal vein is known as somatic vein. Both the Wittlein vein arises from the mesoderm around the yolk sac, traverses headwards on each side of the primitive gut, traverses the septum transversum and ultimately opens into the floor of the sinus venosus. Now, development of the hepatic bud in the septum transversum divides both the sides of Wittlein vein into three parts: the infrahepatic part, the intrahepatic part, and suprahepatic part. In the infrahepatic part of both the Wittlein veins, three transverse anastomoses develop: the cephalic and caudal ventral anastomosis and middle dorsal anastomosis. The splenic vein joins the left end of the middle dorsal anastomosis, and left umbilical vein joins the left end of the cephalic ventral anastomosis. While traversing through the hepatic bud, both the Wittlein veins break up into the capillary network. This capillary network joins with the liver sinusoids. In the suprahepatic part, another anastomotic channel develops, which is known as subdiaphragmatic anastomosis. Now, between the subdiaphragmatic anastomosis and cephalic ventral anastomosis, a median channel grows and connects both the anastomoses. So, primitive duodenum is now surrounded by figure of 8 anastomoses of the Wittlein veins. The posterior limb of this lower venous circle disappears and the anterior limb forms the superior mesenteric vein, which passes in front of third part of duodenum. Anterior limb of this upper venous circle disappears. The posterior limb of upper venous circle and middle dorsal anastomosis forms the main trunk of the portal vein. Part of the right Wittlein vein, cephalic to the cranial to the cephalic anastomosis, form the right branch of portal vein. Cephalic anastomosis as well as part of left Wittlein vein cranial to the cephalic anastomosis both forms the left branch of portal vein. That's why left branch of portal vein is larger compared to the right branch. The capillary plexus of the Wittlein vein inside the liver is differentiated into the afferent sets of vein and efferent set. The afferent set is known as veni advehentis, which forms the intrahepatic branch of the portal vein, and efferent veins are known as veni revehentis, which form the tributaries of the hepatic vein. With the regression of the left horn of the sinus venosus, the suprahepatic part of the left Wittlein vein regresses, as well as left part of the subdiaphragmatic anastomosis disappears. So, consequently, the suprahepatic part of the right Wittlein vein enlarges and forms the common hepatic vein, which persists in adult as a terminal part of inferior vena cava. The right part of the subdiaphragmatic anastomosis forms the left hepatic vein, and a longitudinal channel connecting the left hepatic vein and left portal vein now forms the ductus venosus. Right and left umbilical vein drain the oxygenated blood from the placenta. They traverses through the septum transversum and ultimately opens into the floor of the sinus venosus. With the development of the hepatic bud in the septum transversum, the right umbilical vein completely disappears. Left umbilical vein also regrets from the sinus venosus. It establishes communication with the left end of the cephalic ventral anastomosis. So the oxygenated blood from the left umbilical vein now passes through the ductus venosus into the inferior vena cava, bypassing the hepatic circulation. The regressed left umbilical vein from the ligamentum teres of the liver and ductus venosus from the ligamentum venosum.